Hi, this is Niall Brady from windowsnoob.com, and today I'm going to talk to you about update 1703, which is available for Configuration Manager Technical Preview. So we're going to do the upgrade now in my lab. And let's have a quick look at the features though. This release has got Windows Analytics, Commercial ID, and telemetry levels, which you can adjust. In-place UEFI conversion, which is fantastic for Windows 10 in-place upgrades. We have collapsible task sequence groups, again another long requested feature. Azure Services Wizard, direct links to applications in Software Center, import PFX certificates, and more. Right? So all you have to do is go to the Enterprise Mobility blog to read about that. But let's start with the upgrade itself. How do we do it? Here we see System Center Configuration Manager 1702 Technical Preview. And if we click on the administration node, you have an overview section, and underneath there is updates and servicing. In previous releases it was in cloud services, but it's moved up to here. So let's click on it. In updates and servicing, we can see the currently installed version of Config Manager Technical Preview, and that is 1702. There's the state, installed. And here's the release date released, 2/23/2017. So how do we go about getting the new release? Well, you could just sit tight and wait for the DMP downloader to do its daily sync, or you can kick it off by clicking on check for updates, which is what we're going to do. When you click on check for updates, you'll get a pop-up notifying you how to monitor the sync process. There's two ways. You can go to the monitoring workspace and look for updates and servicing status node, or look at the cmupdate.log, which is in the logs folder of the directory that you installed Config Manager. And that's exactly what we will do. So let's find that log. DMP downloader is the log. There it is. Let's open it up. And CM Trace. Fantastic tool. Best tool ever. Okay. So in here we can see it's redirected to sccm.manage.microsoft.com. It goes off asking, hey, what's happening? Do you have anything for me? It downloads a cab file, and in that cab file there will be some information about what is available to Config Manager and the different versions of Config Manager. Okay, so it's done with its skip. We're done with its sync, I should say. Let's go back to the console and click on refresh. And here we can see that Configuration Manager Technical Preview 1703 is now available to download. And there's the date released a couple of days ago, even though it was only announced yesterday. So normally it would say available and would start downloading itself, but let's kick it off by right-clicking and choosing download. And it notifies us that it's still checking for updates, applicable updates, I guess. This can take a few minutes. Click refresh to see new updates. View the DMP downloader log again file for sync status. So let's go back there and see, do we see anything new? And we do not. Useful tip if you're waiting for something to happen is to open up the task manager to get a look at what's going on in your lab environment. And here we can clearly see that there's nothing happening right now on the internet. It isn't pulling down anything. It's doing nothing. So the CPU isn't doing anything either, 3%. So it's busy doing nothing. I guess it could be processing config files or figuring out where to download the update. But we'll just have to give it some time. Give it some time. Okay, let's check again. No update there. Back into our console. Let's see what it says now. At this point, the download option is grayed out because we've already clicked on it. So let's go to the monitoring workspace, see what we can gather there. Scrolling down to the updates and servicing status node, we can see our two configuration manager releases. This one is installed, the other one is applicable. So we click on that, and if we right click on it, we get a show status, which we'll see what it will tell us about the process. And as we can see, everything is in a not started state. This is config manager, so things take time, especially when you want it to go fast. You can click refresh to speed it along, but I guess we're just going to have to wait. Alright, you see this line here? This is where it periodically checks every couple of minutes or minutes, right? Regularly checks to see if you have an Intune subscription. In other words, if you're in a hybrid state, which I'm not in this particular lab. So you don't need to worry about that. It just keeps on checking anyway. And it will keep on logging the fact, as you can see here. So we need to wait. Do we see any activity here? Something going on with IIS. It's looking a bit more busy now. Are we downloading anything yet? No, we're not. Let's go back and check our status. Refresh. Not started. Not started. Okay, this is a very exciting demo. Let's go back to DMP downloader log. Anything happening there? No. Stubbornly refusing to update itself. Okay then. Refresh. Still listed as not started. And nothing is downloading at this point. Now, if you were terribly impatient, what you'd be tempted to do here is to forcefully spur it along by going into the monitoring node again and looking at component status under system status, and in there you can click on this green arrow which says start on it, go to configuration manager, service manager, and in there we have components and servers. So here, these components here are part and parcel of what's going on in config manager, and you can start or stop individual components, including our good friend the SMP downloader. So let's just double check that nothing is happening, and as we see, nothing is happening. Nothing's happening there. Let's try the old trick of restarting the DMP downloader. So first of all, we click on it and then we query it using the yellow arrow, yellow exclamation mark I should say, and it tells you it's running. So we click on stop, query, stopped. It was very quick. And then let's start it again. Query, and it's running. Now if we look at the DMP downloader log, we should see that it was signaled to stop. Yes, it was. And starts again. And what's going on here? Ooh, there we go. That kicked it into action. And if we look here, we can see straight away it is downloading pretty fast, which is good. And if we go to the config manager console, we can see that it is in a state of downloading. So things are moving now. Let's go to monitoring, updates and servicing status. And as you can see, the icon has changed here. and also the status. It says status downloading. So let's right click on that and choose show status. And as we can see, process update package has completed. So things are happening. It also has a download in progress, which is fantastic. This is a technical preview. It's also a lab. You don't have to do this. This is just because I'm impatient. If you just wait, it will actually start the download itself fully automatically. But I was impatient because I'm recording a video and I want you guys to see something happening. So let's wait until it has downloaded. I think the download itself should be about 2 gigs. So a couple of minutes to download on this 100 megabit internet. It's pulling it down pretty fast now, which is good. Let's see, does the DMP downloader reveal anything interesting for us? If we go back in here, we should see something called generating state message :6. And what that means is that's where it's found in your package. And here it is. And you see this package GUID here, 00F3 and so on. This is the 1703 package, I'm betting. So if we go into the, how can we verify? If we go into the console and go back to administration and click on 1703, if we scroll over to the right, you can see additional bits of information, but we can also right click on the column and choose package GUID and then scroll over even further. And there we see the package GUID of this one in question, and it is 00F3BD4B. Okay, so let's go and double check that. And indeed, this is the one, D4B. Let's just check again. D4B. Yep, this is the one. So that's how you identify what the package GUID is, in case you were interested. And it will always say generating state message 6 for package and then a GUID. The GUID changes every release. This is true also for hotfixes that you can install via the updates and servicing node in Config Manager. So let's see what the status is. It's still downloading, as we can see. And this downloads the updates to a folder on the Config Manager server. Let's have a look at where that is. It's called the Easy Setup Payload folder. And we can see it's there. It's downloaded 600 megs so far, 1.09 gigs. Okay, so it's on its way. We just have to wait. Nice to know where it's downloading to. I wouldn't recommend that you mess around with that folder though, because you could cause yourself problems later on. Okay, it's still in a state of downloading. Let's refresh here. Still downloading. Refresh. Downloading. Let's go to our monitoring to see, does it tell us anything differently? Show status. Once you've done this a few times, you'll get used to it, and it says completed. So let's double check that. Yes, it does indeed look like it has finished downloading. So let's go back to the main console, see what it says, and look at that. It has changed from downloading to ready to install. So things are looking up. So how do we install it? Well, once again, you just right click and choose install update pack. So let's do that. Let's go through the process. So this is the first screen you see, the wizard, and it basically looks pretty much the same in every release. You can ignore the requisite checks, warnings, and install the update. I wouldn't recommend that because if there's something wrong with your site, you'd really want to know. So let's click next. Here you can see a list of features that are available. They're all grayed out because more than likely they're already installed in previous releases. Let's click on next. And what we have here, well, actually let's just double check that. Okay, so we'll continue. Here you decide your client update settings. This is how you want to update the Configuration Manager client after the upgrade. So you can point to a specific folder, validate it in a pre-production collection. I haven't done this, or you can just upgrade without validating. It's a lab, so let's continue. Next, you have the end user license agreement. You have to click accept, and you can type in your software assurance expiration date in here when it expires. I don't need to do that. This is only to notify you when your SA is running out. So don't worry about it. You can change it later anyway. The hierarchy settings. Here it gives us a summary of what's going on. It's installing update pack for Configuration Manager Technical Preview 1703. And it basically summarizes what we have chosen in the wizard. So we'll click next. Off it goes. It really is a seamless process, as you can see, and we just click close. Now, how do we monitor the installation? Well, there is a file that you should open in cmtrace. It's called cmupdate.log. So let's go and locate the log file. And here it is. We'll open it up. This log file will basically log everything about all the SQL changes, file changes that it does when it's installing the update. At this point, you see there is nothing happening. Don't be worried. It is doing things in the background, and it will start updating this log very shortly. So it can take a few minutes before you notice activity in this log, but once this log starts with the activity, it won't stop until the upgrade completes, and it gets very busy indeed. So if you like to watch things happening, we can go back into the monitoring node and go here, and let's click on refresh and see what else it tells us here. So okay, so there we go, replication in progress. So it's replicating content, I guess, replicating the new content more than likely. And if I click on Task Manager, maybe we can see some performance changes. Can't see my disk. I'd have to open up Resource Monitor to see that, but let's just take it at its word. It's replicating content. Here you go. Update content library. So these are the tasks themselves. You can click on it and you get a summary of what is going on. So that's good because the CM update log still hasn't kicked off its logging extravaganza, and you will believe me when you see it if you haven't seen it before. So we're 18 minutes in to the upgrade process, and as a summary of what we've done so far, we've gone into the console, we've verified what is installed currently, we've initiated a new upgrade by clicking on the check for updates, and then we've monitored that using the dmp.downloader.log and the monitoring node itself. We became impatient, so we restarted the DMP downloader service component, and once doing so, that kicked it off proper. If we look at that file itself, the DMP downloader log, you get lots of information there about what it's doing and how it's doing it. So it checks the hashes of the content it's downloading, downloads the large file with bits. There's the magic GUID again, and here you can see details of all the files that it's extracting and where it's extracting them to. Remember, I showed you the easy setup payload folder. That's where it's extracting all the content to. So if you need to verify why something isn't working, for example, this is definitely a log file that you need to be looking at, and that's a lot of content in there. Okay, let's go back to the upgrade log, and it has kicked off. I can see that by this little gap here. So let's scroll down, and as we can see, it's referring to the content replication succeeded. That was what we saw here. So where it started replication. So if I refresh now, yep, we can see that it has completed those tasks. It's completed the prerequisite check, and it's starting the actual installation, hence this log file getting busy. So as you can see, it is getting busy, and it will just keep on scrolling by, hopefully, until the job is done. And it would be very interesting to see from beginning to end exactly how long this takes. So we're 20 minutes, 50 seconds into the process so far. And here's a lot of information about exactly where we're at, what part of the upgrade we're in. It really is fantastically done, and kudos to DJAM and the team for producing such an easy process to upgrade Config Manager. Back in the olden days, which isn't so long ago, back when we had SCCM 2012 R2, even SB1, we had to update using almost archaic processes. This is more akin to Windows Update or servicing. It's very easy for the admin. It usually always works, and it's well defined, and it logs really well. So if something does go wrong, you just find out what went wrong in the log files and then fix it. Okay, so let's see where we're at. Waiting for changes. Okay. And literally it is waiting for changes. So exciting. Extracting an update package. Oh, it's done that already. Okay. There's quite a lot of tasks involved here in the actual upgrade, which it completes all automatically. So while we're waiting, why don't we look at the post setup configuration tasks? Let's click on that and see what it says. Brings us to a web page. Configuring sites and hierarchies for System Center Configuration Manager. So this is applicable to current branch and I guess for technical preview, because that's where it took us. So you got a bunch of actions that you need to do, details about the actions. Well, we're upgrading this site, so some of these jobs, for example, will have already been done, so they don't need to be done again. Okay, checklists of common configurations for new and additional sites. Let's scroll down and see, do we have something else there? No? Alright. So, let's go back. What's the story? Refresh. Validate redistributables. Let's check our cmupdate.log. And it's still waiting for changes. How long will that take? No one knows. Oh, 600 seconds. 10 minutes? It's a long time. But we need to go through the process, and I want it all captured on video, so just bear with me. While we go through the upgrade. You can fast forward. I'm not going to remove it from the video. Okay, 10 minutes. When did it log that? That was 6:19, and we're now at 6:25, so we've got another 4 minutes to go. It isn't actually 6:25 a.m., it's p.m. It's just the time zone on this VM. So let's go back here. Still marked as not started. Well, normally when you're upgrading a technical preview like this, you can head off and have a cup of coffee or a beer if that's what you prefer, while you're waiting. Here's some music coming upstairs. So can I turn it down using my Sonos app? There we go. Amazing. So what time is it now? 6:26. We have another 3 minutes. So exciting waiting for an upgrade, isn't it? What is it actually waiting for? cmupdate.log. Okay. And we refresh again. It's not going to say anything because we haven't passed the 10 minutes mark. That will be in another 2 minutes 15 seconds or so. While we're waiting, for those of you that don't know, I wrote a blog post a few days ago. And I'd highly recommend you take a look at it, especially if you're dealing with Windows 10. Oh, great. Let's try that again, shall we? Guess that's why I normally use Firefox. Okay, well, doesn't want to go there for some reason. Ironic. Wow, that is funny. App crash. Yeah, well, I wanted to show you a cool new program. Alright, blog post. I guess there's another way of doing this. At least this works. Alright, it's 6:29, which means our update should continue. And yes, it is. It has moved past, and off it goes. Let's see where we're at. Click on refresh, so we should see it moving past down here. And yes, we do. It's extracting the update package now. So as we can see, there's different components that are being checked off. which is good. We have to wait until we have completed everything. And there's a lot of things to be done. Okay, so let's see what it says. The console still shows installing. Refresh. Yeah, that's interesting. Never saw that before. So I guess when it's upgrading, if you do a refresh there, you'll see nothing. Okay, let's clear them out, making way for the new stuff. And let's do a refresh here. Ooh, it has flown through all that. Let's check what the cmupdate.log is doing. And as we can see, oh, here it goes with the SQL scripts. This, I guess, is where it makes changes to tables and so forth, adding the new functionality. I guess SQL would be pretty busy right now. Yes, it is. So let's check our... Okay, it's updating the config manager database, clearly. Now, where did we get with that download? Let's have a look. Yeah, because this is going to take some time, so I may as well show you this blog post. I think you'll be interested in it. If you're upgrading Windows 10 versions, if you've got an old version, such as Windows 10 version 15.11, that will become unsupported as soon as Creators Update is marked as current branch for business, which will be a couple of months after Creators Update is released, and that's going to be released in the coming days. So let's just have a look, see does it work in Firefox. There we go. So let's click on the current branch guides, scroll down, and here you get a lot of current branch guides, but not only that, you have technical preview guides underneath. So each version that comes out, I tend to put up a blog post about it. Okay, so here's the one I want you to take a look at. It's called How Can I Forcefully Upgrade One Version of Windows 10 to the Latest? If you haven't had a chance to look at this, please do. This will guide you through a method to seamlessly upgrade older versions of Windows 10 in your environment forcefully to the latest and greatest version that you decide you want to upgrade them to, be that Windows 10 version 16.07 or Creators Update when it becomes available. So that's the blog post. Please do check it out. It's well worth reading, and I put a lot of work into it. So now let's go back here. Upgrade config manager database. Let's do a refresh. We're now 33 minutes in, as we can see down here. Let's check the cmupdate.log. Oh yeah, remember I said that this this log file gets extremely busy? I mean, look at this. It logs everything. And you will see some lines in red occasionally. Doesn't always mean that it's bad news. Sometimes the word error is in the line, and that's why it marks it as red. So if you look at this one, for example, yeah, there's the word error, which is why it flagged it in red. So nothing to worry about. Off it goes, still upgrading. Let's check our status once again. Refresh. So it's still upgrading the configuration manager database. Even tells you what to do. Check the cmupdate.log for details, which we're doing. So we're multitasking here. So we've got all these tasks still to complete before the upgrade is completed. And we're 31 minutes in. This lab that I'm using is an old Dell laptop, believe it or not. A Dell Latitude E6530 with a measly 16 gigs of RAM, but it makes up for the lousy RAM with a lot of storage. So there's 5.5 terabytes of SSD storage. So I do all my labs on this computer and it works quite well. It's an i7. Someday when the money rolls in, whenever that is, I'll upgrade to a better computer for my lab. So let's see where we're at now. Refresh. Yep, this is a case of watched kettle never boils. So okay, it's importing data into the tables. Important stuff. So all the new functionality, all the new things need to be imported. Let's go back to the console and see what the console looks like. As we can see, no items found. Oh, and there they're back. All right, so it's listed the state as installing now. And if we stretch this one up a bit, might even get information about it. You can click on show status, which will kind of bring us back to where we were in monitoring. We've also got features. So here it lists all the features, what they are and what they do. And there's a more information link. So it's some pretty cool stuff. It's very impressive, the list of features that are added to the technical preview every month. Okay, so let's go back to where we were. It's here. Is it still updating the config manager database? It is, and we're 37 minutes in. Okay, so now it's executing some SQL Server scripts. I think I have 4 CPUs allocated to this particular VM, which helps a lot. And I think it's 8 gigs of RAM as well. Let's take a look at that. Yeah, 4 virtual processors and 8 gigs of RAM. So that does help a lot. If you've only allocated one CPU to your VM, I mean, it is a test environment. Things can crawl, particularly the upgrade. Of course, those of you that have got brand new i7s with the latest and greatest, probably flying through this in minutes rather than what will probably become an hour for me. Alrighty. Right, well, while we're waiting, let's go back here. I'll just remind you that in this index of guides, you've got many guides about doing different things with Config Manager, both current branch and technical preview. But not only that, I also cover, of course, Configuration Manager 2012. And those guides, in case you didn't know, have reached well over 1 million views. So if we click here, scroll down, you can actually see the number of views. It's quite amazing. Over 1 million views for those guides. All right, so what's the story here? And of course, I'm extremely grateful to you guys for going there, clicking on the links, reading the content that I put together. If it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be doing it. Okay, it's still busy upgrading. Let's check our good old cmupdate.log, and off it goes. I think we're going to see something different now. So let's go to the monitoring. I think it will have moved beyond there. No, it's still there. Okay. Still updating the database. All right. And we're 40 minutes into the upgrade. 40 minutes. It's a long time. Thank you for sticking with me. Now, while we're waiting, part 2. Those of you that are not using Twitter, please get on it. It's absolutely great. You'll get information there very quickly about whatever it is that you're interested in. And of course, you're interested in Config Manager, which is why you're watching this. You can find me here at ncbrady. Please go ahead and follow me, where you'll see I tweet about things that are relevant, such as this blog post from Panu Saku about Technical Preview 1703. So please go ahead and follow me on Twitter so that you can follow what's going on in the Config Manager world. Alright, let's go back here. Okay, excellent. It has moved past updating the Config Manager database. It's updated the SQL registry, updated the RCM registry, and is moving on to installing files. These files are required for the update. Okay, let's go back and check the cmupdate log. See where that's gone. Where is it? This one here. Okay, now these big flashes of red near the end of the upgrade process are normal. I've seen them in every upgrade. It basically says can't find XYZ version of blah. Let's see, can we find one of those lines and read it in detail? See what it's talking about. Here. Get file version info failed for blah, this particular file. And I think the reason why it is doing that is because the ACLs change during the upgrade, and that's probably why it can't gather this information. That's my hunch. I know that I've seen that after an upgrade has completed, for example, you can't read a log file because, yeah, the ACLs have changed and you have to go back in and take ownership in order to read the log file. So let's see, where are we at? Okay, speaking of log files, how will you know that this one is done? Well, you will see the CM update giving you a notification, or rather notifying the HMan that things are done. Alright, so when you see that it's sending a notification to HMan, that usually means that everything is finished. We're certainly not finished yet, but we're getting close, and we're 44 minutes in. So let's go back here. Click on refresh. Oh yes, this is looking much better. So it's starting WMI. We're nearly there. Once we've completed the entire upgrade to 1703, there's one last thing we need to do, and that is to upgrade the console itself. And I'll show you that process too. So let's click refresh again. Alright, let's hope we don't have another 10-minute wait. Okay, it's completed. Excellent. Now install some services. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 things remaining, which is absolutely fantastic. Okay, we can see it's exporting the boot images, doing what it needs to do to get them up to the same version that they need to be for 1703. So it exports them first of all, applies any changes that it needs, and then imports them. Updating the instance. It's looking good. Okay, where are we at? Do a refresh. Still 4 things remaining. Installing services. Okay. It has to do both boot images. I have just 2 in my console. There's a lab. Oh, 4. Okay. Interesting. Thought I had 2. Perhaps I added them later. Or maybe this is part of this process right now. Because I see there's 2 for each version. Yeah, that could be it. So these are the 2 originals and these are the 2 new ones. Okay, let's go back to administration and see where we are at. It still says installing. And let's check monitoring. Refresh. Okay, still hasn't started on installing services because it's doing the boot images. Okay, successfully copied. I'm guessing this will take about an hour in total. And we're now 48 minutes in. 48 minutes, 5 seconds, 7. Okay, these are those red lines I told you about before. They always appear near the end of the upgrade process. The end is near. Aha! Remember what I said about the H-man? We're done. Look at this. Successfully dropped update pack installed notification to H-man CFD box. That little line there tells us the upgrade was successful. So let's see. If we go here and click on refresh, we should see, okay, it's running some post-installation tasks. Guess we need to let them complete. Yep. Okay. So once those features are, once those post-installation tasks are done, we can then go back to the console and upgrade it. And then the entire process is complete. We should be able to see the new console and see that it has indeed been upgraded to 1703. So far so good. We're 49 minutes, 41 seconds into the upgrade. Superb. Turning on features. That's interesting. So if you went and tried to upgrade the console now, I guess it wouldn't work, and you probably wouldn't be able to access these new features yet. So it really does pay to sit here and look at the installation status of the update pack, so that you can confirm that it has indeed done all the actions it's supposed to. This one tells us the upgrade is completed, but that doesn't include the post-installation tasks, which it's doing right now. Okay. So let's just see. If I go here, remember those boot images we had 4? Do we still have 4? Aha. Now that pop-up occurred because I did an action. I clicked on refresh in the ribbon. Pretty much any action you do there will trigger this. And what this pop-up does, and this was a user voice of mine, by the way, one of my first, and the first one implemented for Configuration Manager in its new form. This feature, it tells you, that you're running an older version of a console and there's a newer version available. Working in the old console might corrupt data. So if you do as it says, you'll get the new console. That said, let's go back here. It hasn't finished with the post-installation tasks. Okay, and we can't click on that because it's waiting for us to click on OK, I guess. Let's click on OK. Yeah. Let's try again. Let's cancel it for now and review the status, as we want the post-installation tasks to complete before we install the new console. Here it says installed, which matches the previous information in the cmupdate.log, but we still have these tasks to occur, and they can take time. So normally what I do when I'm doing the upgrade, I go ahead and I reattempt the console upgrade a few times. So if you do this, let's close it, trigger it again. Okay, let's click OK, answer yes. Let's see, will it upgrade this time? Nope. So what was it complaining about? And we're 53 minutes in. Cannot access the file, and that's probably because it's in use by something else. Yeah, used by another process. Okay, so let's close that. Try again. Cancel. Monitoring. Updates and servicing. Show status. Aha, we're getting somewhere. So we still have a few things to occur here before everything is happy. And we're 6 minutes shy of 1 hour, which is not bad considering how long it used to take to upgrade sites back in the day. Turning on features, we want that to get moving. Okay, did I kill it? Refresh. Still not there yet. Let's try updating the console again for the laugh. This is me being too impatient. I should really wait until it's all complete. Yeah, 1 or more errors. It will keep saying that, I guess, until it's done with the post installation tasks. Back to monitoring. Okay, so there's still a few things that need to be done, and we're 55 minutes in. How busy is it? Not that busy. Not started. I suppose we could check these logs to see what's going on. Okay. Starting bootstrap operations. Let's double check that it hasn't moved past there. And it hasn't. Still in progress. And we're 57 minutes in now. Okay, let's try being impatient again. Close. Start. Let's try for the laugh. No. Okay, post installation. Still not started. In progress. What was the other log? cmupdate.log. Let's have a look at that one. Here we go. Well, let's hope it's not going to wait that long. It's like 20 minutes or something. 30 minutes maybe. Not a whole lot happening here. But it must be busy. This one's doing something now. I see even a Windows installer. Okay. Starting. Good. Start it up. Do something. We're now 59 minutes in. So if you've stuck with me throughout this entire video, then you will be very familiar with how to verify what's going on during the upgrade and what to do when things seem to be doing nothing. Basically, you can read more log files. And we can see it's busy working. Starting the bootstrap. Okay, here we go. Now it's doing some major things. Back here. Still in progress. So we literally have 3 more things to be done before we can celebrate. We're 1 hour and 1 minute into the upgrade. Oh, so all done there. This is looking good. And it's still busy. Clearly it's taking time. This is the site comp log. What about the other log? SMS exec log. That one's doing nothing. What about this? Still in progress. Yeah, it's running these commands. No doubt those commands do something important. It's part of the upgrade. It's configuring the services and so on. SMS site, volume, shadow, service writer. Let's see where we're at. Look at that. Things are looking way better. There's only one thing left, and that's turning on the features. Check hman.log. So let's go and look at that one. hman.log. And we're 1 hour, 3 minutes into the upgrade. Please don't wait 3,600 seconds. That will take forever. Okay, let's go back here. Refresh. Refresh. Let's try updating the console again. Will it work this time? Click OK. Yes. No. Same thing again. Cannot access the file. Alright. Let's go back to monitoring. So the one and only thing that's remaining is to turn on features. And of course upgrade our console. Please reopen the Config Manager console to see the new features. Well, let's try again. No, does not want to get past that. So maybe we should close this. That could be the killer. Try again. Well. So having the component configurator open blocked the upgrade of the configuration manager console. Interesting. We're near the end of the process, 1 hour and 6 minutes. Really appreciate the fact that you guys have stuck with me this far and that you didn't fast forward. Hint, hint. We're nearly done. While we're waiting, we can double check here. Let's see what's new. Windows Analytics, the UEAF conversion, collapsible task sequence groups. That's a really cool feature. Azure Service Wizard provides commonly configuration of cloud Azure services, direct links to applications in Software Center. It's useful if you want to have your own HTAs or whatever and link to apps in Software Center. And import PFX certificate features for config manager clients running on Windows 10 desktops. Okay, cool. Yep, off it goes, installing the new console. Is it done yet? Did we get a notification? Oh, there it is. One thing I've noticed that after this is done, you have to unpin and then pin again to get the icon back. So we've completed the process of upgrading from System Center Configuration Manager 1702 Technical Preview to System Center Configuration Manager 1703 Technical Preview. Let's just see, can we at least look at one feature before I finish the video. So let's look at this one, for example. See what's in this task sequence. So collapsible groups, do we have it here yet? Look at that. Isn't that fantastic? That's going to make our jobs a lot easier. Well done to the configuration manager team. This is fantastic. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.